So I thought I'd do a quick video actually for any of my TikTok or Facebook or YouTube followers that are following me that don't really understand what the hell I'm doing in this polytunnel and not too sure what hydroponics is all about. Of course, what it is growing plants in water rather than growing them in soil. So we use water and nutrients that we add to the water that they'd normally search out in the ground for, but we're giving them hopefully the correct dosage of nutrients that they're looking for, so they grow a lot quicker, you know, rather than having to search for them in the soil. And you've got different types of systems. So that we're growing the strawberry plants when I transfer them over here. We're growing them in a perlite, which is a volcanic rock that's heated up, so I'm told, or so I read. Strawberries do like having their roots in something, but this is what they class as inert, so there's nothing in there unless we pull it in there, like no goodness in it, if you like. So we fill this tub in the bottom up with nutrients and water, and the pump pumps it up, it drips down onto the system, and we'd have that on a couple of times a day, maybe for an hour, to drip down through the system. Plants feed off the nutrients. What I'm making out of these AdBlue containers is very similar, but of course this one is a commercially made one, this one is a budget and Leggett that I'm going to make, and we'll see if it does any better or worse. Then you've got the NFT system. This has a reservoir exactly the same and nutrients in it, but this gets flushed through, if you like, a lot more than that one, because the liquid or the nutrient is just passing the roots of the plant, and the plant goes in these little cups and the roots hang down in there, and then of course as the nutrient water runs past, it picks up the feed. So this one we'd perhaps have it on for half an hour, off for an hour, half an hour, off for an hour, throughout the day. Of a night time it'll turn off, but of a night time you would get water sitting in these tubes, so the plant can still feed. Then you've got Kratky buckets, and Kratky was I think a professor, can't remember if he was Russian or German, and he come along and said, you know what, you don't need all this faffing about, you can just fill a bucket up with nutrient, put a plant in it, and it'll grow. So this is what these buckets are. These are Kratky buckets that I'm making, if you like. 3 holes in each one. We'll fill it up with water, we'll make sure the pH is correct, add the required amount of nutrient to it, and we're going to stick tomato plants in these. So I'll have 9 tomato plants in each set of buckets. So if you imagine as well, if you was to plant 9 tomato plants somewhere, the amount of space that you'd need to plant them, whereas this takes up a lot less space. I'll put strings up to the tubes so that we can tie the tomato plants up onto the strings, so that side will eventually just be filled up. I've got 10 different varieties of tomato plant. I'm going to put 20 in the polytunnel, 20 outside the polytunnel in Kratky buckets, and 20 into my other small polytunnel in dirt or soil, and we see which does best. So that's about it really. It's all slowly getting there. Keep them peeled, people.